Yeah, you got to get back on the horse with an hour's less sleep. How did you like that sun in your eyes this morning on your morning commute? Mine took longer than it normally does, but we are back with another new week of Bruce Hooley shows here on 989 The Answer. And you can follow us on Twitter. My personal Twitter is at @bhools. There is a Hooley Show Twitter. You can podcast the show anytime you want, listen to it on demand by going to 989theanswer.com or take us with you wherever you go on the iHeart, TuneIn, and radio.com app. Glad to be with you. Hate to tell you what I had to tell you at the top of the show today. It concerns 3 concerning stories involving juveniles. And the most, well, I don't know. I can't rank them because they're all concerning. But just to give you a window into my weekend, Saturday morning, I had the pleasure of attending a LifeWise Academy fundraiser in the area where I live. And it was great to see the support, to hear the numbers, the increased attendance at the school in my district. Started with 100 kids in LifeWise, mushroomed at the beginning of this year to 261, is now at an even 300. What does this tell us? If you don't know, LifeWise Academy is an off-site program where students go only voluntarily. Parents have to sign on, kids have to be interested to get Bible instruction. What does that mean? It means they get the truth. It means they hear about how much God loves them, and it means they get humans who personify that love toward them. That's where and why these stories that I'm going to lead with today trouble me so much and probably should trouble you so much. Overnight, a 7-year-old boy was left in a Target store in Blacklick. An employee got in this morning to open the store, got there at 6:15 a.m., and they found the boy in the store. He had been left there overnight. Store closed at 10 o'clock. So I don't think a 7-year-old wanders around on his own on a Sunday night. So an adult made a purposeful decision to leave them there and did not report him missing. The child is okay, but you don't know, how he or she processed that, being left overnight in a Target at 8100 East Broad. At a shooting in Columbus early Sunday morning, juvenile victim suffering from several gunshot wounds, unlike many juveniles in Columbus who were shot. This one will live. Taken to Nationwide Children's Hospital. No suspects. No suspects. So there again is a demonstration of the violence being done to our youth in the city, and it will continue. Sadly, that is the reality. Licking County today, a 13-year-old student arrested. Actually arrested yesterday after making social media threats toward Newark High School, Heath High School, and Lakewood High School. How old was the kid? 13. What has to go through this person's mind to emulate the threats acted out in other areas of our country and to bring them down to the local level to where the sheriff of Licking County and his deputies have to attend to it? They did not specify which school the 13-year-old attends. They said the suspect had no means by which to carry out the threats that were posted on social media. There's no threat to the schools or to the community. And it is unclear at this time if the teen will face charges. I suppose they want to ascertain whether or not he has a mental health situation or what the situation is there. But we can say what the situation is there with the juvenile who's shot, with the 7-year-old who's left in the Target. We can say what the situation is. The situation is a failure of God's ideal plan for how children are supposed to be raised. That's the facts. I'm not blaming any individual parents, but I'm saying that when kids come increasingly from broken homes without a mother and a father, without a male and a female, not mom and mommy, not dad and daddy, but a 2-parent home with a man and a woman who are devoted to each other, and who sacrifice for each other and who sacrifice for their kids, this kind of dysfunction proliferates. Can this kind of dysfunction come from a two-parent home? Of course, because parenting is hard. And raising children has never been harder than it is in our culture right now, which underscores the need for a mother and a father in a devoted marriage, sacrificing for each other and for their kids. I was going to play this cut for you last week. I didn't play it. It didn't fit in the show at the time. It sure fits now. It is a retirement speech by Jason Kelce, Philadelphia Eagles football center. And Kelce is leaving the NFL at the top of his game. He's still a very effective player, if not the best player in the NFL at his position. So why is he retiring so early? Because he realizes he has more important things to do. And what is on Jason Kelce's mind as one of the more important things he must do now that he is retired from the NFL? And that is what kids today need. Fathers like Jason Kelce, fathers like Jason Kelce's father, fathers or mothers or both who in the situations that we outlined today severely failed their kids. So when fathers don't do what fathers need to do and mothers don't do what mothers need to do, a culture deteriorates. And we look all around us and we see a culture deteriorating. And we see a culture deteriorating not just because of mothers and fathers, because of leaders. Mothers and fathers are leaders. If you have influence over a single person, and I don't know anyone who doesn't, you are a leader. But our leaders are failing us. They fail us first at home, then they fail us out from that, wherever that emanates. Could be in the local schools, could be in our local government, could be in our county government, could be in our townships, could be in our state government, could be in our national government. It's actually all of those places, which is why it's very important next week on Tuesday to vote for the right people in the primary election, which will determine the candidates for the general election in November. And here in Ohio, probably the most consequential race and concerns that of U.S. Senator. We have had Sherrod Brown in the U.S. Senate for a long time. Sherrod Brown has had ideal timing. He has never come up for re-election at a time where the political climate made him vulnerable. He has always been able to stand behind the lie that he really cares about the working person and that he's doing a lot and getting a lot accomplished for the working person. Sherrod Brown is over 70 years old. Sherrod Brown has had his turn. He should leave the stage and hand the baton to some younger Democrat who can articulate a different vision than Sherrod Brown. But being in the Senate is a really good gig. And Sherrod Brown doesn't want to give it up. He wants to serve until he's almost 80. Well, we have someone, don't we? A template who is serving at or just past the age of 80. That is President Joe Biden. Why should you put your confidence in Sherrod Brown? I don't know why. I don't know why. Bernie Moreno, Matt Dolan, and Frank LaRose, the three guys who are seeking the Republican nomination, don't talk more about Sherrod Brown's age. He's not addled and infirm yet, but if he serves 6 more years, he's sure going to be up against age 80. You should not be in government at age 80. You should not be. You should not be able to run. You should not be able to run for office that will leave you in office past the age of 75. You should not be able to do that. If we can't, by the time we're 75, have our leaders mentor others and turn over the responsibilities they have shouldered for probably far too many years, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, on and on and on and on and on, then the system is broken. Well, that's not an if then, it's a certainty. The system is broken. How's the Republican Senate race going to play out? Don't know. It's really close. A Survey USA poll says Bernie Moreno has 29% support, Matt Dolan 27%, Frank LaRose 21%, undecided 23%. This is why I fear Dolan getting in, because LaRose and Moreno may split the vote among authentic conservatives. We will see, but it's a very important race, a very, very, very important race. So is your township trustee race. So is your mayoral race. So is your county commissioner race. So is your state representative race. I've told you before who I support: County Commissioner Madison County Brendan Shea, Patty Hamilton to represent Licking and Madison County and others in the Ohio State House.
For today, high 55. For tonight, clear, low 40. For tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy with a high 67. Tomorrow night, low 45. Wednesday, partial sun with a high 65. Thursday, breezy with sun and clouds, and a shower in spots in the afternoon with a high 69. Friday, cloudy, a few showers with a high 60. I'm Andy Robb on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
I'm Dr. Michael Strasberg. I'm a dentist. I've been practicing for 44 years. In my practice, we talk to patients about their health, their nutrition. People think of the mouth as something separate from the rest of your body, but the healthier you are, the healthier your mouth is. You know, when you're younger, your mother would say, eat your fruits and vegetables. But as you get older, that sometimes gets shoved to the side. And Balance of Nature has been one of the best supplements to fill the void in the fruit and vegetable area. When I did this, I felt a noticeable difference. I felt better. Anytime you can feel better, I don't care what age you're at, you know, that's a big plus. I don't stuff anything down anybody's mouth, but hey, this has worked for me. Why not try Balance of Nature? Simple, easy, take it, and it's going to help.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off plus $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code Mike G.
How many companies would let you see how your product is made? At Miller Cabinets in Plain City, they're proud of their work. So we asked Bob Andrick, a longtime Miller Cabinets customer, if he and his wife Monica got to tour the Miller Cabinets plant and see how their kitchen cabinets were being made.
Yes, we did. In fact, we took a tour during the time frame that our new kitchen was in process, so we had an opportunity to see the cabinetry in process, and went through all the steps from the door manufacturer, the box, finishing, and inspection, and it was very, very impressive.
So you get to see your cabinets being built.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool. And probably a little more lucky timing than anything, but it worked out just great.
Truly custom cabinets built just for your space. Let Miller Cabinets of Plain City help design and create for your home. Get inspired today at millercabinets.com. That's millercabinets.com.
2024 is an election year, and that could mean huge gains. Consider the Dow. Over the last 123 years, over 65% of the years were winners. Traders who want to capture the biggest gains need to perfect their timing of entries and exits. Vantage Point's dual-patented artificial intelligence processes billions of data points instantly, giving you the edge to make informed decisions. We can help you predict major market trends in advance. Text the word money to 813-813 to learn the power of the AI pattern we can only describe as electionomics. Join our free class today and put electionomics to work for you. Text the word money to 813-813 right now. Text money to 813-813. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated technology about offers by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply. Text money to 813-813.
Are you ready for an adventure of a lifetime? Journey with me, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, on the Patriots Alaska cruise this summer. It's an incredible opportunity to engage with me and other like-minded patriots on an epic 7-day cruise over 4th of July weekend. Witness the untouched wilderness of Alaska while discussing America's future. What could be better? Join me from June 29th to July 6th. Call 855-565-5519 or reserve online. PatriotsAlaskaCruise.com.
So I've been telling you lately about riverbendranchstakes.com. You can go there, riverbendranchstakes.com /Bruce Hooley. It'll take you to my page where you'll see all the subscription bundles that you have a chance to purchase. But now there's bigger news, bigger news. What if I told you could get filet mignon for $12 a pound? Ah, I sound like I'm hawking meat on the sidewalk somewhere. You say, it's too good to be true. No, it is true, because I just got the email yesterday. So if you go to riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley, you'll be able to sign up for those cuts as an a la carte add-on to your New York strip, filet mignon, ribeye steak, chuck roast, ground beef order that you can have set to arrive on your doorstep either every month or every other month. What about the rest of the prices, Bruce? Well, the rest of the prices compare favorably to your local grocery store, except in your local grocery, you can't get USDA Choice and Prime guarantee, and you can't get no hormones and no antibiotics ever. All this beef comes from one ranch. It is phenomenal. I love mine. You will love yours. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. So I talked about the primary election, state of Ohio, coming up on March the 19th. And the next night we'll be at the Lazy Chameleon in Powell, of course, for the big Mike Gallagher talk show host, Bruce Hooley, Jack Windsor program. Go to 989theanswer.com to get your tickets for that. Elections are famous for something they call the October surprise. The general elections in November. The October surprise means there's going to be some big revelation come out about a campaign in October. And typically, in fact, almost always, in fact, I can't even think of a time when it hasn't been this way. The October surprise comes from one side portraying the other side in a bad light. Well, over the weekend, we got an October surprise in March, and this one's a first. It came from Joe Biden, and if there's any justice in the world, and I'm not sure there is, but if there is any justice in the world, it will be an October surprise that cuts the knees out from under Joe Biden in his attempt to be reelected. He, as you well know, last week, we have to backtrack on this, gave his State of the Union address on Thursday night. Okay, gave his State of the Union address. And in the midst of his State of the Union address, Joe Biden was losing badly to the teleprompter. And in the midst of his stumbling and bumbling around, Marjorie Taylor Greene heckled him from the back of the room. And I wish she hadn't, because I wanted to see like how badly the teleprompter was going to curb stomp him. But she interrupted and she said, Laken Riley, say her name. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene had already given Biden a button when he walked into the room with Laken Riley's name on it. So he couldn't remember her name. He didn't want to say her name. Of course, the Georgia nursing student who was murdered on the campus. She's not, actually doesn't go to the University of Georgia. She goes to, I think, Augusta College, but she was jogging on the campus of the University of Georgia in the morning between 9 and 1 when she was accosted and murdered by an illegal alien. And so I think this is the cut where Biden is forced to reference her by Marjorie Taylor Greene's heckling.
It's not about him. It's not about me. I believe the winner not true.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
Lincoln Riley is the football coach at USC. He said Lincoln Riley. He meant Laken Riley. He's never corrected that. In fact, the mother of Laken Riley tells the New York Post, Biden does not even, she told her, she wrote this on her Facebook page. It's picked up by the New York Post. She said, Biden does not even know my child's name. It's pathetic. If you're going to say her name, even when forced to do so, at least say the right name. So you heard him say, killed by an illegal. Well, there was immediate pushback from Democrats about him using the term illegal because they don't want you or me or anyone to say illegal. In fact, they had Ilhan Omar, no person is illegal. Well, no, you actually, if you are in the country, try to follow my logic here, illegally, you are illegal. We have legal immigration in this country. There are avenues by which you may enter the country legally, but this guy who bashed in the skull of this young woman did not enter the country legally. He entered the country illegally. So here's John. So Biden has to correct this. He has to correct this. He has to correct. Follow my logic here. He has to apologize to those who were offended by him calling the murderer of a 22-year-old American co-ed an illegal. He has to apologize to the people who were offended, not by her murder. That's just got to break some eggs to make an omelet. You want illegals to come in and screw up the voting rolls and be counted in the population census so that Democrats can get more representatives in the House and in the Senate. Then Lake and Riley's just collateral damage. Here's Biden on with Jonathan Capehart, who's known to cry on camera over vaccines, of MSNBC, apologizing for using the term that you dare not mention, because it's a truthful term, as a Democrat.
The look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her.
Oh, priceless. Priceless.
To her heckling of you, you used the word illegal. The man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
That was the mission of going on MSNBC, was to apologize to the people who were offended, not by her murder, but by the fact that he referred to her murderer, or likely murderer, as an illegal. And he said these people built the country. These people who crossed. He said, I'm not going to talk about any of them in an unflattering way. The ones who come across and beat up New York police officers, the ones who rape girls at knife point, the ones who murder co-eds, they're in the group of any. He's not going to say anything bad about any of them, he said. Now, Trump's rhetoric could use some polishing. It could use some refining. But the people who come across the border illegally, when there are legal ways to come across, and who commit crimes and do not observe our laws, are not the people who built this country. Do you know the people who built this country? They're the people who came from Europe, primarily, some across the southern border who worked in places like California, in the cotton fields and other agricultural endeavors, but mostly who came from Europe, who landed at Ellis Island, who registered and entered the country legally and assimilated into the country, who learned the language and wanted to be Americans. I worked in Cleveland for a long, long time. I have a really good friend in Cleveland. Many of you may know him from his past career here in Columbus radio, Mark Munch Bishop. Munch used to take me around the ethnic neighborhoods of Cleveland, Slavic Village, here and there. That is indicative of the immigrants who built America, not the people who come across the border illegally, get arrested in New York for endangering a child, and then move to Georgia to avoid being deported and kill a nursing student.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. The leader of al-Qaeda in Yemen is dead, although there are many more questions and answers regarding the death of the man who was worth millions to the U.S. government, which had placed a $5 million bounty on his head. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu standing tough in the face of another admonition from President Biden, who says Israel should, quote, pay more attention to the innocent lives being lost in the war in Gaza. China's National Congress has wrapped up its annual meeting, endorsing the leadership of Xi Jinping. Charleston, South Carolina, recovering from record rainfall. Flooding rains fell over the weekend. There were a number of high water rescues in Charleston. Stocks are lower on Wall Street this morning. The Dow down 150 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index is off 23, and the S&P is down more than 20 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online.
When I say he was an illegal alien, he was an illegal immigrant. He was an
Podcast Network.
The number of Americans, and I think this is part of the problem right now, the number of Americans getting their news from TikTok quadrupled in the past 3 years. It really kind of terrifies me for what is to come for this country.
Subscribe to The Right View on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at Salem Podcast Network. News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, tune in or iHeart. 2024 is an election year, and that could mean huge gains. Consider it now. Over the last 123 years, over 60
her policies for her death. The Rileys are your constituents. At his rally last night, Trump met with Laken Riley's family. These are your constituents. Is it not true that there were policy failures that led to this tragic murder?
Listen, first of all, let me just say that my heart goes out to this family, the family of
described as electronics. Join our free class today and put electronomics to work for you. Text the word money to 813-813 right now. Text money to 813-813. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. By texting, you agree to the terms available at software.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated application about offers by or on behalf of IH1. Your consent is not a condition for purchase and can be revoked at any time. Batteries may apply. Text money to 813-813.
Headmaster Hall here from Dublin Classical Academy. At Dublin Classical Academy, we have the tuition-free solution to relieve concerns about the current public education system. Dublin Classical Academy is the first Hillsdale College-supported tuition-free school in Central Ohio. It's a content-rich classical liberal arts education that includes instruction on moral character and civic virtue. Visit dublinclassical.com for more on how to enroll your child for free at Dublin Classical Academy. Dublin Classical Academy, classical education, tuition-free.
Even before your alarm clock goes off, he's already in the ground, running, ready to tell you what's going on in the world you're waking up to. He's Hugh Hewitt, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
So it's Monday. You know where that means, right? Monday afternoon. That's right. Bruce Hooley in the shop, in the store, just down from Costco of Soft Step Carpet. Yes, come see me this afternoon. You need new flooring in your home. You need new carpet. You need LVP. What does that stand for? It stands for luxury vinyl plank. You know, the stuff that looks like wood, looks like tile, won't gouge, won't scratch, waterproof, perfect for laundry rooms, perfect for any room, really. People love it. And you're not out of your house for a week waiting for them to put real hardwood in your home. What a hassle that is. No, there is no hassle at Soft Step Carpet in Plain City because we save you money big time. We do not have expensive overhead, hence you don't have to cover the cost of that like you do at big box flooring stores. No, we take care of you at Soft Step Carpet and Flooring, and I'd love to take care of you. Go to brucehooley.com and fill out the form if you're interested, or you can go to and email me at brucehooley@gmail.com or stop by the store today, just down from Costco on 161, way before you get to Plain City. But remember that name, Soft Step Carpet. It is where you get the best flooring for the money, Soft Step Carpet. Some speculation we may get the Fani Willis ruling today in Georgia. The judge in that case was appointed, so he didn't run for election. He's a white judge. Fulton County, Georgia is overwhelmingly black, and he's a Republican. So the thought was his ruling may be impacted. Shouldn't be. First of all, this is a shouldn't be, but it's a reality. Like here in Franklin County, right? Oh, you get elected as a Republican judge, and then, oh, wait a minute, I got to run for re-election, and now we got a Democratic stinko city where everything is run by Democrats. I better change my affiliation to a Democrat. Yeah. So this judge was running unopposed, and at the last minute, Jesse Jackson wannabe, who sat in the courtroom every day, decided he would run for judge too. So the thought is this guy may not disqualify Fani Willis because it'll be the end of his political career. We'll see. We'll see if he follows the law. She'll be out. And if she follows the law, or if he follows the law and she is out, then hopefully by the end of the day, we'll get to play Elvis Suspicious Minds again, because that is the perfect backdrop to that nonsense that has gone on in Atlanta. Now, there's a lot of nonsense going on in Atlanta, or rather in the state of Georgia, because the Democrats there are doing, like Democrats always do, everything they can, right? Oh, we're doing everything we can to lower inflation. We're doing everything we can to lower gas prices. We're doing everything we can to ruin the country. Oh, that's me talking, not them. But now they're pedaling really hard to justify Joe Biden's apology tour on MSNBC, which I've said could be the October surprise and own goal by the Biden administration, because if Donald Trump's campaign does not continue to play Joe Biden on a loop, apologizing for using the term illegal to describe the illegal who murdered Laken Riley, then that is a major fail by Trump, because immigration is a huge deal. And why is immigration a huge deal? Because immigration leads to unnecessary, totally preventable crime. The Democrats hate that. They push back against that. Remember, I played the Athens mayor saying there is no tie between illegal immigration and crime. Well, actually, there is. There's a dead body over there, and it was killed by an illegal alien. Dead body would not be there if not for the illegal alien. And we have stories like this all around the country. There are more and more of them every day. I retweet every one of them because I want everyone in the electorate to know that this is purposeful on the part of Joe Biden and on the part of the Democrats. They didn't used to talk this way, of course. They used to be more common sense. And I don't know if that was an act or if it was, let's just start this as a small seed and see if it grows and see if we can start to gain some momentum here on the illegal immigration front. Here's Barack Obama, back when he was pretty much newly elected president in 2009, talking about immigration.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who is in Mexico City applying illegally. But after you've done these things over a certain period of time, you can earn your citizenship. So that it's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it, but over time, you give people an opportunity. Now, it only works though if you do all the pieces.
Can you imagine a Democrat now saying you got to earn it? You got to wait in line. You got to get in line. You can't have your hand out. You can't get your free cell phone. You can't get your $10,000 gift card in New York City. No, now you're just entitled to it. Can you imagine a Democrat now saying, I don't have a problem with illegal immigration, but they got to learn English? Can you imagine Joe Biden saying that? And it's not just Obama. I could play Schumer saying much the same thing. I could play Pelosi saying much the same thing. Here's more from Barack Obama on immigration. Again, this was the Democratic position less than 3 presidential elections ago.
I think the American people appreciate and believe in immigration, but they can't have a situation where they just have 500,000 people pouring over the border.
How many?
Without any kind of mechanism to control it.
500,000.
We got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are U.S. citizens. That's the kind of comprehensive approach that we have to take.
Now we have more than 500,000 coming across every 3 months. Okay, and so one of them, in a case that just captured the headlines because, people can identify with a 22-year-old nursing student out for a jog. It's a horrific way for anyone to die, to be disfigured, to try to call 911 during the midst of the attack and have her take the phone away. By the way, why do we have no details yet? Why do we have no details yet on how she was murdered? We have her skull was disfigured. that he tried to conceal her body. That's it. That's all we have. Why is that? Why is that? Because Athens, Georgia is a woke sanctuary cesspool that is protecting the details on this vermin's murderous acts. He did it for sport. He did it because he's a member of a Mexican crime family. He did it for sport, for fun. What, does she have like $100,000 on her while she's jogging on campus? We don't have any details that she was sexually assaulted, because if that's true, then that looks even worse for the Democrats. Why do we have no details on how she was murdered? For the same reason we don't have any details or the manifesto from the trans shooter in Nashville, because it makes the Democrats look bad, because the truth, the light, always makes darkness uncomfortable. That's why we don't have any details. But they continue to traffic in the darkness. Here's Reverend Raphael Warnock, senator from Georgia, talking about the murder of Laken Riley with Jake Tapper of CNN.
At his rally last night, Trump met with Laken Riley's family. He blamed Biden's border policies for her death. The Rileys are your constituents. Is it not true that...
No, they're not. They're white.
...that led to this tragic murder?
Listen, first of all, let me just say that my heart goes out to this family, the family of Laken Riley. And I can tell you, as a pastor who has...
Oh, here we go. Oh, boy.
...presided over all kinds of funerals, there is no grief worse than when nature is tragically reversed, and rather than the children burying the parents...
Where's the butt coming, Reverend? There's a butt coming.
So it's unfortunate that in this moment of grief, there are those who are trying to score cheap.
Here we go.
The border must be secured. We know this. There's agreement about that on both sides.
Cheap political points. So if you have a daughter in college, like I do, and you have to call her and say, hey, by the way, illegal immigration is an issue in all 50 states. You're not jogging alone on campus, are you? Oh, what are you talking about, Dad? I go to college in, the Bible Belt. I'm in the middle of Nebraska. I'm in the middle of Iowa. I'm in the middle of Alabama. I'm in the middle of Mississippi. There's no place safe. There's no place safe. There's no place safe because of Joe Biden's policies, which is to say there is no policy other than, what did he say? Surge to the border. That's it. That's his policy. Surge to the border. And Raphael Warnock saying, you score cheap political points. No, it's making a phone call to your kid, telling them not to do something that should be an innocent, fun activity on a college campus that instead, as we now know, can get them murdered. Don't walk across campus late at night alone. Travel in 2s and 3s. Lock your car when you get gas. A friend of mine told me a story the other day, happened just up the street from a studio here, near 270 and 23. Guy's filling up his car with gas. All of a sudden, guy from another gas pump comes over on the phone. Hey, is there something here? Like, I'm looking for this and I can't find blah, 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 blah. He was making no sense. And instantly, the guy who was filling up his car got nervous. Looked around and realized that this guy had an accomplice and he was trying to get in the guy's car who was filling up with gas. That's Columbus, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. So crime is here to stay because of the policies of Joe Biden. Cheap political points, though. Don't try to score those cheap political points. Don't try to keep your kids alive.
Sunshine for today, high 55.
Look at the clock.
Tonight, low 40. Sunny, breezy, high 67. Tomorrow night, low 45. Wednesday, partial sunny, high 65. Thursday, breezy, sun and clouds, and a shower in spots in the afternoon, with a high 69. Friday, cloudy, a few showers, with a high 60. I'm Andy Bob on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
President Trump calls Matt Dolan unfit to serve in the United States Senate. The feelings mutual. Dolan publicly attacked Trump on Twitter, calling him a liar. He gave more than 20 grand to Rhino Republicans who supported Trump's impeachment. Dolan said the Republican Party should move on from Trump, and Dolan opposes Trump's America First policies.
Dolan says he's not running on the agenda of former President Trump.
Trump hate, Rhino. Wrong for Ohio. Send a pro-Trump conservative fighter to the Senate. Bernie Moreno.
Breaking news in the Republican race for Ohio's U.S. Senate seat.
President Trump now endorsing
Bernie Moreno.
Trump endorsed Bernie Moreno.
My friend Bernie Moreno. My complete and total endorsement.
Bernie Moreno, the Trump-endorsed conservative for Senate. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this act. Paid for by Club for Growth Action. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Clubforgrowthaction.org.
This is Dennis Prager, and now a truly exciting new benefit. My monthly online video get-together for Pragertopia Plus members only. For an hour each month, get an exclusive chance to ask me anything. I'll be answering your questions. I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at Pragertopia.com. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to Pragertopia.com or click the banner at DennisPrager.com.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I love what I do with the Bruce Hooley Show. I hope you love what you do. You know, life is better when you have a passion, and Mike Lindell definitely has a passion. He wants to help you get the best sleep of your life. And after Mike Lindell invented the world's best pillow, he created the famous Giza Dream Sheets. They are the best sheets you'll ever sleep on. I know, I have them, and the best night's sleep just got even better. Because for a limited time, you get the queen-size set of Giza Dream Bed Sheets for $59.98. That's right. And the king size, just $69.98. That's the lowest price in history. Mike and MyPillow employees continue to be canceled by big box stores and attacked by the media, so they definitely appreciate all your great support during these times and want to thank you by giving you free shipping on your entire order today. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, and use my promo code Bruce. You get the famous Giza Dream Sheets, queen size, only $59.98 a set, king size, just $69.98 a set. Giza Dream Bed Sheets on sale, lowest prices ever. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce.
Hey friends, whether it's the melting winter snow or the spring rain that's coming, if you've got roof leaks, that water's coming in, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Well, actually there is, but you've got to take the steps. This is Bob Brands, and that step is to call Sky Roofing at 614-280-9308. Look, Sky Roofing is not some fly-by-night storm chaser company that comes in after a storm, claims they fixed your leaks, then disappears before it starts leaking again, leaving you to find someone else. No, Sky Roofing is here for the long haul. They've been serving homeowners for over 2 decades, and their pledge is to treat your roof like it was one of their own. So if your roof is in disrepair, maybe you've got some gaps in the shingles, or maybe your roof has served its time well for you, but you just need a new one, the damage that's going to be caused by all of those leaks is going to be worse than the cost of getting it done. Do yourself a favor, get it done right. Call Sky Roofing, 614-280-9308. Call today, get a great call. Learn more at skyroofinginc.com. Sky Roofing is roofing done right.
So remember, March the 20th, Lazy Chameleon in Powell. You want to come hear the breakdown the day after the March 19th primary? That's the place to do it. I'll be there. Jack Windsor will be there, host of the Windsor Report, along with Mike Gallagher, whose show on the Salem Radio Network precedes my own. Now, this is a private VIP event. So if you want to be a VIP, then you've got to open your WALLET and buy a ticket. Yes, it is a have a ticket only event, but you get an appetizer, buffet style dinner, dessert, complimentary drink ticket, live show. We always have food left over, so you know you're going to eat well that night. And you're going to get a great conversation, a chance to ask questions, photos, meet and greet, all that good stuff. Doors open at 6 o'clock, food and cocktail hour. Then we'll have at 7 o'clock the program, which will begin. You can join us March the 20th, Lazy Chameleon in Powell. It's all brought to you by our friends at Adult and Teen Challenge Ohio, where they are doing transformative work in the lives of women who are trapped in all forms of addiction, sharing the love of Christ. They're getting it done at Adult Teen Challenge Ohio. Support them and buy your tickets for this great event at 9890answer.com. So as we reflect on what I termed earlier in the show, the March surprise, the own goal by the Biden administration, with him going on MSNBC to apologize for calling the likely murderer of Laken Riley an illegal. This is what offended the left. Not that a 22-year-old nursing student was murdered while out on a morning jog. Not that her skull was disfigured. Not that this illegal had been detained twice in New York and was released and allowed to go to Georgia, where he teamed up with his brother, both of whom are members of a Mexican gang. to murder this girl for apparently sport, because we're not getting any details on why they did it or why he did it. This does not offend the left. What offends the left is because Joe Biden referred to the murderer as an illegal, because as many of the leftists have tweeted, no person is illegal. Well, that's not true. If you enter the country, try to follow my logic, illegally, you are an illegal. You should be detained and you should be deported. And no, I don't care if you leave family behind because you made the decision to come here. It's much like my inability to muster any sympathy for a doddering old mush brain president. I will not feel sorry for him as he stumbles upstairs, and I will not dial down my criticism of him while he advocates for the unfettered, unchecked murder of innocent unborn children and for the ruination of American children via transgender nonsense and life-altering puberty drugs. I will not feel sorry for him when he makes a fool of himself in public, which he often does, and which he did in his interview with Jonathan Capehart. By the way, let me say, MSNBC is billing this as an exclusive, getting Joe Biden on camera. I suppose there is some exclusivity in getting Joe Biden on camera, but let me just tell you, in journalism, an exclusive is when you outwork your competition and get something your competition does not have because you were not given it. MSNBC was given this sit down because Joe Biden, if you want to reach the most radical wing of your party and rehabilitate yourself for the sin of calling a murderer an illegal, where would you go to do it? Where do, in other words, the craziest portions of your party hang out? Well, they hang out on MSNBC. This is where Jen Psaki and Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid mocked the murder of Laken Riley and the fact that immigration is a chief concern of voters in the primary because, there's a border between Virginia and West Virginia. MSNBC is where you go to reach the craziest of the crazies. So that's why he went on MSNBC. That's why he gave the interview to MSNBC. There's nothing exclusive about it. And if you want to know how crazy the people are, this is the kind of thing, and this is the problem with our upcoming election. This is the problem with our culture. This kind of an admission, this kind of an own goal, this kind of a stupid apology from Joe Biden should decide the election, should decide it. Much the way Michael Dukakis pretty much decided the election when he was asked about freeing some rapist and murderer. If the same guy had done it to his wife, would he be an advocate of freeing that person? And Dukakis said, consistency of his position, even though it was whacked, he said yes. And that was the end of Michael Dukakis as a presidential candidate. Joe Biden can say the dumbest things, can stumble and bumble around, can lie to your face, and we'll have more of his lies in hour number 2 because they can't win on truth. They don't have it on their side. Their policies don't work. So they openly lie about reducing the deficit and prices coming down and wages going up. They just openly lie about it. Biden pays no price for that because now we no longer pay attention to what is true. We no longer even pay attention to how his policies have really impacted people's lives because, well, orange man bad, right? I mean, orange man bad. Here's a commissioner in Athens County, Georgia, much like Raphael Warnock, crazily positioning the murder of Laken Riley as the fault of white men.
I am as disgusted by the crime as I am by the hysterical glee with which so many have seized upon this tragedy to promote division, bigotry, and hate. This tragedy offers yet another reminder that monsters are real, and they come in all shapes and sizes. With terrifying regularity, they come in the form of white men with weapons of war, fueled by mental illness, bigotry, and right-wing conspiracy theory who slaughter classrooms full of school children, congregants in churches, temples, and mosques, hapless shoppers and revelers at concerts, nightclubs, festivals, and parade routes. Mass murders that have become so routine they are met with only thoughts and prayers from cowardly Republican legislators, governors, and judges who enable unfettered access to such weapons of war. And every day, the monsters come in the form of
Every day.
behind the wheels of big trucks and fast cars who
Ooh.
ignore the rules of the road,
Mm.
endangering the public with impunity, often walking away from fatal crashes with barely a slap on the wrist.
Athens County Commissioner Melissa Link must have had a really bad day. Apparently some guy in a truck with an American flag on the back, oh, heaven forbid, a Confederate flag on the back, must have run her off the road. Terrifying regularity of mental illness. Well, I hope she's getting care, and maybe she's in a doctor's office where there are lots of chairs filled with people like her who's suffering from mental illness. Let's get a slightly different take on the whole Laken Riley Joe Biden apology tour from someone who talks sense, Guy Benson of Fox News.
Entered this country illegally. He then committed and was arrested for multiple illegal acts in 2 different states, culminating in a murder in which he brutalized and bludgeoned her skull with such force that she was disfigured. If you have not heard the word illegal at that point, what is the point of that word even existing? And I think it is such a striking juxtaposition to see President Trump meeting today with the family of Laken Riley, whereas Joe Biden during the State of the Union had to be heckled into even mentioning her name, which he then got wrong, and now he's apologizing for mislabeling her alleged murderer.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it should be what clinches the election for Donald Trump. Now, Trump is not above saying crazy things himself, of course, but here he was spot on talking about Biden's apology.
They just told me prior to what I'm doing right now that Joe Biden went on television and apologized for calling Lincoln's murderer an illegal. He was an illegal alien. He was an illegal immigrant. He was an illegal migrant. And he shouldn't have been in our country, and he never would have been under the Trump policy.
I don't understand why the Democrats don't see, with immigration as the #1 issue, that they should just say, yeah, this was a horrific mistake, that this person was still allowed to be in the country. And we are deeply emotionally impacted and forever regretful of the pain that the Riley family has had to go through because of this mistake in our system. And you just offer some human compassion without trying to, but it.
Unfit, unethical conduct, repeatedly abused the power of his office. That's what the press says about Frank LaRose as Ohio Secretary.
All right, have a great day, everybody. Appreciate it very much. Talk to you again tomorrow.